Alrighty, right, the timer is down, and we got the old camera angle back. And someone subscribed. Oh no! Andre, thanks so much! A couple of coffee, there we go. I need to move the alerts up. They are behind. I thought I fixed everything, but there you go. Well, thanks for the donation there. I very much appreciate it. Let's get rid of the piano for now. We don't need that right now. So, hello and welcome everyone to... Wait, let's do this differently. How do we do this? Look at this. Ooh. Now we get rid of the background music. And if I have something important to say to you, we can do this. So, we need to talk about... back to there? No, back to talk. So, talk modus. Talk mode. What I want to do is... You never see me with bright outsides. Well, yeah, it's pretty sunny in California today. Let me bring down the music a little bit. It's a bit loud. So, welcome to Listening to Your Tracks Part 3. Started that a while ago. And whole aim is you guys send in your tracks and we take a listen at it together and talk about pros and cons. Ideally more about the pros than the cons. But I want to try to give honest feedback on your composition, your sound and everything. If you're new to the channel, there's a bunch of links coming in every now and then. I think I forgot the links in the video description this time, so please watch out in the chat, the links rolling in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like it. You can support me on Patreon. That is very much appreciated. With these track reviews, there's always the rule of thumb, patrons go first. So thanks to all my awesome patrons out there. They will be mentioned at the end of the stream. And if you're new to the whole thing, why do I do what I do here? I am a composer since quite a while in the south of LA currently, Orange County, and I also own and run a production music catalog together with my business partner called DocuScores and also Reality Scores, where I am creative director and kind of give feedback on tracks and try to curate the catalog to the best of its abilities. So I try to make it sound good, and hopefully that's in line for what the clients need and want. And this session is kind of like giving a little bit back and try to give my knowledge and what I think about the track. Oftentimes, especially when it comes to composition, of course, it's very subjective, and you don't. Sometimes it's hard to judge or to value something because it's a kind of creative work. But just so you know, I come from the angle of looking at stuff like, is it licensable? Is it workable in the environment of TV and film and media production? So I'm not talking about, is it a great chart banger that is going to make it to #1 of the Spotify charts anytime soon? I'm really looking at the music from a licensing perspective. Can it work in a licensing environment? So that's something to keep in mind. There is, we got a bunch of submissions. I didn't download everything yet, but the link to send in your tracks is in the video description below. So if you want to have something of your stuff played on the stream, just send it in. No promise that I can take everything, of course. Usually during the stream, the inbox fills up. But I try my best to go through as much as we can and give it a listen. So, without further ado, let's jump straight in, go into the DAW, switch off the music in the back. Yeah, there we go, that's good. Hey Sergio, nice to see you. And we start actually with #2 today. #1 is #2, which is 7 Tears of Hope from good old Germany. So that's good. It's close to 11, close to midnight at your place, so you can go to sleep afterwards. or maybe not. We will see. Again, I didn't listen to a single track of yours, so this is really a first-time listening experience for me as well. We have the piano going, that's fine. Let's bring that in. There we go. In case we need something from the piano, little hint for you guys. Not working. I hate my life. No, I don't. I just hate when things don't work. So what we need to do is... There we go. That goes up. Okay. Now it's working. Bam! So you can support the channel on Patreon, or you can also hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the format, let me know what you think of the new stream layout. I put some thoughts into that to hopefully make it a little bit more accessible for you guys and enjoyable. You better don't say shit. So let's go. First track. What did you write? Let me quickly check that. Reviews. 70 Years Road. Here's my submission for the upcoming LTYT. No 8-bit, I promise. Okay. The composed track is written in the style and loving memory of Ennio Morricone and describes the story of Brett McBain's idea in Once Upon a Time in the West of founding this city called Sweetwater. Composing details, key starts in F, modulates to C, finally to G. Oh, we have a bunch of modulations going on. 50 BPM, raises to 55, etc. Track is there, wave files 48. I'm looking for advice from the last... I took every advice from the last session very seriously. That is very good. Spent several days composing and the last 2 days mixing. A lot of the tips were also from the night sessions. Well, I'm glad I could be of help. I'm still a beginner, but I have so much fun learning and composing music. I'm grateful for your feedback. Well, there we go. We will see afterwards if you're really grateful. But let's give it a listen. I'm very curious. Ennio Morricone style. You don't bake small cakes. thank you for your submission. So, overall, first of all, great cue in terms of when you try and aim for that Morricone style, it definitely has a resemblance of that. So that is well done. And that's the first thing if you try to evoke a certain kind of, if you have a certain sound in mind or want to be reminiscent of a certain style, like in you say kind of Morricone, and it sounds like that, well done. So it is definitely there. There's, you said you're only starting out and doing not so long. There's a few mixing issues that I see with the track. I don't see many issues with the composition itself. It's rather sometimes the usage and the sound of the sample. Some of the transitions sound a little bit stiff, or some of the legatos are not really there and sound a bit abrupt. The first thing that came to mind was I think it was at that position here. Well, that was a compositional thing. There's kind of an overlap with a note underneath that. There's some odd note in there that rings. There's like, you'd play the B and the A at the same time. I don't know if that is intended. It sounds like it was by accident at that point. That's something that kind of stood out for me. Then in the end here, the choir, I miss a little bit of more fluid legato transitions. Like these. That transition there is very. I'm not really sure that's intended, but it just caught me a little bit off guard. Overall, in terms of mixing, there is let me make that a little bit wider. Medium, yeah, like this. There is, especially in that frequency range, there is some. So I had to turn it down a little because it was really biting in my ears. By the way, I just realized that I forgot my reference again. So there we go. Don't wonder, this is only for my listening. You don't have the reference effect on your stream audio, so you get the clean audio signal. Like 1K, that frequency is really, really biting, and you gotta look into that in the mix to tame that a little bit, especially in the vocals and the high strings. And then there's also a problem, but that's like, I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself from the last session, like the lower mids. That's always a tricky frequency to get right, and you gotta be very careful with the mix and how much you emphasize that. It sounds very muddy in that area in your mix. Especially this frequency. And the whole bass range is just, it's not really there yet in terms of when you compare it to a standard professional mix. It's very tough to give concrete feedback unless you look at the individual stems. Hamsh, thanks for mentioning that. Just take a look at the description below the video. And so yeah, but this is something, yeah, 7, you did a great job already, and I have to be honest, I don't really remember your track from last time, but I remember that it was still like, obviously that it's a beginner track, and you definitely made progress from the last time till now. So that's a great thing, and I really see the effort you put in there. But I also got to be honest, if something is not there yet from a perspective where it would need to be, I just got to say it. But it's great to see the progress that you have made already. So congrats on that. I can only say keep grinding, keep doing it, and keep pushing. And that's the only thing that makes you better. Just do it. I need to bring in some custom meme overlays that I can trigger, like just do it or something. But 7, thanks for sending it in. Great work. Really, really well done. Keep grinding. So, next one. Tobias Kumar. Sounds very German to me. Again, another new guy to the field. So he started in March, as he writes. Staying creative, obviously COVID and all that shit going on in the world. 90 BPM, audio Imperia bundle plus oboe from Nucleus, strings from Area, a loop from Key Forest Evolution, and soundtrack Venus Choir, done in Reaper. It ends a bit abruptly since I'm not sure how to really end it as of now. Okay, maybe I should just keep it that way, forget about it and start something new to try out. Well, let's give it a listen, shall we? And then we can see what we do with it. So, definitely a nice sound sausage there. Very dynamic when I see the beginning and the end. So, guys, keep in mind, Tobias has been on it since March, so that is not even half a year. Leveler, I did get your email. Well, which one? Let me quickly check. No, I got it. It's in line. It's... There we go. It's all scheduled. Don't worry, guys. We're all good. Hey, Kenneth. Your track should not be longer than 2:30. Well, we will see. So right now we have, what did I say? Thomas? No. Oh, God. I'm so bad with names. Tobias. Let's give it a listen, shall we? Oh, by the way. Oh, I like that. Nice chord change there. That was a bit abrupt. Oh wow, that I need to listen to that again. That harmonic choice there was a little bit all over the place. So So what is that? G minor? Well, now that I listened again, it's actually not that bad. Quite the contrary. It just caught me off guard. That reminds me of the fact that I haven't used the sound iron choir in a while. That came unexpected. Oh, wow. Yeah, you were right. That ending is a little bit abrupt. Holy shit! You are on the what for like 6 months? This is crazy good for doing it 6 months. I don't believe that you're only at it for 6 months. So you have a ton of great ideas in there. I really like that. And you do some, I don't know if you do it intentionally or just by chance, because you stumble upon some harmonies. You have some great harmonic choices that are not that typical. So we stopped there like this from G minor. That one is a little bit Hotel California. Anyway, and I love the fact that you do this change from D minor that change is great. I really like that. The only thing I don't like is that this is pretty much like a different track. So you were asking what you could do, maybe forget about it. What I would do is just bring this to an end here. Maybe find a nice ending chord there and consider this thing here a completely new track. So apart from the fact that that last part has some issues in the mixing side of things, so with percussion too much now, but I think what really is off-putting about it, if you had a whole track in that same feel, it wouldn't matter that much. Then still you would talk about like mixing issues and stuff like that. But it really sticks out like a sore thumb here because it just feels like it doesn't belong to the track. So it's something completely new that has kind of nothing to do with the stuff before. So I personally would consider this rather like this, two different entities. To do that one track and bring it to a proper ending. Something like that. Just ending on the B minor there. And just try to work that into a completely new track and try to develop that idea. The idea of the chord progression is great. I love that. so nice ideas where you can take it from there. So this is really a great idea worth pursuing on its own. But honestly, for being at it for like, what do you say, 6 months, great work. Great choice of, I mean, the Audio Imperia bundle, the sound is great. There's no denying that. So great samples obviously help. But it's not only the samples, it's also in the orchestration and in learning to use these tools. So, well done. Next in line. Who's next? The Kenneth Malm. No, actually, sorry, to stick to the rules, patrons first, that means levelers now. It's leveler's turn. So what we have? You will find my song Where, C minor, 120 BM. Let you surprise. Okay. Now I'm nervous. 120. I shall be surprised. Okay, let's see. Leveler beats. Thank you, was nice. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye-bye. Holy shit! Leveler. I don't know what I can say. That is brilliant. I mean, if I were to say some stuff, it's really just to be picky. I love the connection of these different genres, bringing in the vocal. Is that you on vocals? Or is that a sample? Or did you get someone in the studio? I love the mashup of genres, like bringing the orchestral elements together with a kind of halftime dubstep beat there. We all knew that dubstep was dead 2 years ago, but you kind of revived it a little bit there. Well, not really dubstep. It's like industrial, I think, more combined with orchestral, with the vocal. I need to listen to that again. I was a little bit caught off guard in the beginning. The beginning was a little bit like all over the place. It was not entirely clear where this is going. So if I need to be picky, that the rhythm between piano and the bass and the strings coming in is kind of like going all over the place. So, I mean, it can be intentional, like you don't want to really kind of give away from the get-go where this is going. But again, as mentioned before, I'm looking at that from a licensability standpoint. And imagine a music soup looking for that type of track, actually. And sifting through 120 tracks in half an hour and giving your track a play. And right here, someone mentioned that, like, there's the next Tron trailer track right away when we go in here. But when you listen here and look at the timer, so here it's a little bit unclear where we're going. Now we have trailer effects all over, sound effects. Whereas when you say, so we are nearly 30 seconds in without a real idea of where this track is going. And as much as I like the fact of having a surprise kind of like for someone, how to say that? Bring that shit up. Maybe let's go to this one. So what I want to try is, like, if you for a license, from a licensing standpoint, you would rather do like this. But wait a second. How do I crossfade? There you go. So, I mean, very, very subtle. It's not the best edit in the world, but you get the idea. So instead of doing a 30-second, I surprise you, I don't tell you what is coming, get to the point right away. A music soup and a music edit, especially with such a great track, you need to establish the mood in the first 5 to 10 seconds. So an editor knows what you're doing. I'm a big boss and you a tiny man. From here on, that track is amazing. So, and with these type of tracks, you can always do like 2 edits. One that you send off for music licensing purposes, for example, sending it to a trailer library, and usually a publisher will, if you work with the publisher and send that in, he will tell you, well, cut the beginning, come to the point. And if you do that for like a public release on Spotify or whatever, you can do the extended version. You can do a 3-minute intro. I don't fucking care. But for licensing purposes, get to the point more quickly. But the track itself is, holy shit, sometimes a little bit too meshed up, too mushy, for lack of better word. So there's the orchestra, the choir is great in the second part here. I love the vocals on top. I personally could see them even come out a tad more, like half a dB above the mix. They are a little bit buried underneath everything that's going on, but on the other hand, you have so much shit going on in there that it's very, very tough to make something stand out above all the noise that is going on underneath. In this case, I mean it in a positive way. Yeah, but this is game trailer cue right away. Overall, in terms of mix, and if I were to say something about the mix, I would give it a little bit more of a smile curve, get rid of a little bit of the... It's not much. Overall, the mix is really good. It's just, there's a lot of elements in there, so it's very tough to contain that in one cohesive space without having elements fighting for each other. So you get a little bit more clarity in the mix when you get a little bit out of the mid-range. The low end sounds amazing. I think you did a fantastic job on the mix. This is close to perfect. Again, Gullfoss could be a friend for that, to make room a little bit for the vocals. Or you could try Track Spacer from Waves Factory. Trackspace is a plugin that gives you the possibility to carve out frequencies for. I was about to ask Leveler, did you sing yourself, or who did the vocals on there, or did you get a cappella from a? Was there another track, the basis for it? Either way, it's amazingly done. I love the ending as well. Rap vocals from a pack, yeah. Well done to bring that all together. That was amazing. Great job, Leveler. Not much to say here. Go on, nothing to see here. Well done. Keep grinding. That was really, really good. I like that. So now we get to Kenneth. Kenneth wrote, "Hi, I saw you are reviewing people's tracks. Nice. I would love to hear feedback on a cue I made for a short film, which is for the final fight scene. I love me some film scores, so that's awesome to look at that. If you could look at the general orchestration and use of instruments, and most of all mixing mastering, which I really feel bad at. Would appreciate anything you can give." Okay, let's take a listen. Kenneth. There we go. Actually, before we do that, I gotta refill my coffee, so I see you in a second. 1, 2, 1, 2. Coffee. Back to topic. So, sorry for the break, guys. I should have named that P break, but I didn't want to write that on the screen. So, are you brothers with Alex Pfeffer? No, I'm not. But I'm good friends with him. He's a buddy of mine, and I love him. He's a great guy. Is he still alive? Is Alex still alive? Because he took a look at Oceania today. No, it looks like he's done. Okay. So, if you came over from Alex, welcome. Support him in any way you can. He's a great guy. And, where are we? Oh, 50 viewers already. Wow, it's growing. So, back to topic, we were at a film score. It looks a little bit like Sound Sausage, but we will define that later. So, let's reset that. There we go. Come on. Come on. I forgot, what was it? Final fight scene of a short movie. Okay. So first and foremost, it's always a good sign when I play the track in full without a break. So that is true indeed. So great track in terms of composition. I don't see anything that sticks out that would need to be changed in terms of composition style. It sounds reasonably well placed. So big thumbs up there. Few issues I see, and you mentioned that you have some issues with the mastering and mixing side. It's actually not much. I feel that not the piano. Come on, dude. I feel that the percussion overall, I don't know, sounds like damage. So yeah, Zahari is right. So I think the percussion is a little bit too upfront in comparison to the rest of the mix. Then again, you always have to see it in context. If it's a movie score, it's for a scene. So certainly you have sound effects going on and other stuff, and it's mixed a little bit in the back. So it may work in the context of a movie when you see it to this to picture, or set it to picture. But listening on its own, the percussion sticks out too much for me. It's too much up front, and I would bring it a little bit further back in the mix. It can also be kind of because of the fact that overall the limiting and the compression on the master is a tad too much. So it's like pushing everything into place. You see it in the waveform as well, and especially in the end here. Everything squashes together. Excuse me for a second. Sorry for that. I had to quickly close my door. So everything is a little bit squashed together in the end. And the same applies also to the cymbals. The high end is a little bit sizzly. I would bring that down. Someone mentioned Gophos or something, or Soothe. So that range up here, I think it's 12K, something like that. That's a little bit harsh on the ears, so I would bring that down a little bit. The high end is, but I don't think that's really a mixing issue. I think it's rather because it's so squashed together. So it's more of a mastering issue. I would check it in the mix before it hits the mastering chain, and maybe use something like Soothe or just tame the high end in the cymbals a little bit. Let me actually turn on some air. Oh, that's better. Especially here, where the big hits come in, you hear that the limiting actually is crushing and distorting the hits. So it's really distorting. You really hear that it's crushing the mix. So yeah, you went a little bit overboard there with the compression, but overall, great work on the composition. It makes me want to see what the picture looks like to it. So if you have a link or something that you can post in the comments of the video, I would appreciate it. Would love to take a look at the picture. So great job, well done. And next time, just be a little bit more cautious with the mastering, and then you're good. Next in line. So I said Olek is the next one. Thank you for being a patron and for supporting the channel. And as I mentioned, patrons go first. So here we go. What do you write? Last streams were amazing and constructive. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think it was the best track review I've ever seen. Awesome, thank you. So my next work is Child Dream track, where I experiment with chamber strings and solo instrument. And like last time, the composition of this track was inspired by streams for solo instruments. I'm sorry about the track length. It's a little bit longer than you declared. Well, we just cut it off. Honestly, I tried to cut it off, but in this case, the integrity and structure of the track is violated. Okay, then we don't cut it off. My question is about selection of instrument and mixing. Thanks in advance for the review. Okay, you guys ready? Let's listen to Olek. Which one was it? Child Dream. Okay, what length are we looking at? Well, you are 20 seconds above length. How dare you? immediately thinking of something like this. Well, hats off. Great job. Yeah, absolutely. First part is documentary style. Yeah, it is a bit long, but no, it's fine. It absolutely works, and you are right. You would have violated the track if you were to cut that down. There's actually not much I can say about it. It's the mix is pretty much well balanced. Again, overall for me, just that area. Mix gets a little clarity when you take that out a little bit. I love the guitar breakdown here. Absolutely round. Yeah, someone mentioned the flutes fighting a little bit with the high strings towards the end. But the high end overall is tamed and contained. The cymbals don't stick out. The fight between strings and flutes is more. I think it's even more an arrangement issue than a mixing issue. So it's just you wrote it the way that they kind of fight a little bit. So if it were my track, I would kind of decide for one element and bring the other one a little bit back, or do a more counter line or like a harmony line to so they don't fight for the same frequency range by playing the same thing. So it's more arrangement than mixing actually, but it's still fine as it is. It's not like it's super bad or anything. It's just like there's this tiny nudge that you can take it further to get rid of this audible fight between these two elements. Yeah, but overall, great work. I like it. Very nice track, can work for documentary. Someone mentioned like UK Sergio, what do you say? I'm sorry about that. Separated by tone color. Doesn't matter. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's sometimes I just need to criticize for the fact of doing a stream on criticizing your shit. So I obviously got to say something. But no, great track. Really minor issues there. I loved it. It's great work. Olek, keep grinding. Very, very good. So, next one line, Zed, your turn. Thanks for being a patron. I really, really appreciate it. 95 and finally on to our first D minor track. 95 D minor. I made this with an 8GB RAM laptop after watching your Audio Imperial bundle stream. Lots of freezing, unfreezing and CPU lags during the process, but I managed to finish it. Okay. That is quite a challenge, working with that bundle on an 8GB laptop. Well, let's see how that turned out. We have a waveform. And we have 4 minutes 37. Are you friggin' kidding me? Okay, let's go. Oops. Ah, damn it. Sorry, my bad. Okay, let's go again. Oh, wait a second. There's something off. I think it slowed it down. File tempo 190. Okay, then let's do 190. What was that? That was a good one. You sneaky little bugger, going to D major at the end. I love doing that as well, my tracks. Yep. When did you start? In October? So another freshman doing it for a year. Giving you a start a year ago, that's really great work. So again, I mean, it's always the same thing. having great samples at hand obviously helps to create a better soundscape, but it's not the samples alone that make a good track. It's always in the hand of the maker. So you can always make good samples sound shit if you write shit, but this would also sound great with bad samples because it's just very well done. Soundscape is there. Actually, I have to admit, I really like the mix. Cheers, Leveler. See you later. See you around. That's what I want to say. I love that middle part, especially the G major there. Changing up there. Cello sounds great in the mix there. The vocals are nice. Daniel, in his case, is not suspicious. I know that his main hardware is like in Asia right now, and he is stuck in Germany. So, yeah, exactly. So, we all have our issues with the pandemic, so there's nothing suspicious about that. But very impressive job, at least. So, that on a 8GB laptop with lots of freezing, I can only imagine the pain you go through with that. But yeah, Zed, great work. Really, really good job. I like it a lot. Next one in line, please. Where are we at? I don't know. And there were a bunch of emails coming in already. So I think Pierre is the next one. Also one of my patrons. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Dystopy. I need to make sure that I don't... I think the problem was that the other track kind of adjusted to the DAW tempo. I need to fix that and make sure that it doesn't do that. To not have the same problem again. So, it's Pierre's turn. Pierre, here we go. Very classically driven, Baroque style. What did he actually write? what you gotta understand, sorry, I'll keep going with that one, and it's very impressive. What I love is the fact that he writes, here's a track where trying into account your last remarks. It's a classic composition in Baroque style. I'm more comfortable when I don't have to manage percussion. So here we have a composer who says, well, I suck at percussion, so I just write a fucking classical masterpiece. So I just love that. I can't write percussion for good, so let's write some Baroque style stuff. So I don't need to worry about percussion. Oh, the flute is real. That's cool. I will not even attempt to get a grip of the key because he's just wandering everywhere. And I am not blessed with absolute hearing. There's so much good to say about that. And fucking me, I can't. Because, I mean, I gotta be honest, that I personally have never really been, I hate to say that publicly, but it is what it is. I've never been a really big fan of the classical music as you know it. And, so I'm not so much into classical music. I mean, obviously I know about Bach and all these guys. I mean, I'm German, so I know about these guys, and there's some great stuff in there, but especially Baroque is not my cup of tea. But I still I am able to listen to that stuff and kind of have an idea. I know that a lot of ton of work goes into that kind of writing, and this is amazing. And the sounds are good, not overall, I'm not blown away by it, but there's a reason that has not much to do with the mix or with the sound or the choice of samples. But again, it's my subconscious hate of Baroque music. So it can sound as good as it can, and I still don't like it because I just don't like Baroque music. So I'm a little bit biased there. Trying to be as objective as possible. The sounds are great. You said you used BBSO Discover, so that is great work there. Live flute is great. The choirs sound nice in the end. Let me come back to that in a second, Zed. It sounds very Matteo's Passion-esque-ish. So that's for sure. I'm Rice is a classical old school musician. I can say it is very, very good. It is. I can say that again. Thanks, Mert, for subscribing to the channel. I can hear that is very good as well. But I am honestly also the wrong one to give a detailed feedback on composition and stuff like that, because this is just not my field of expertise. Neither in terms of knowledge as well as in terms of a deeper understanding of the style and genre, because it's just not my cup of tea. But that is fine. You can't know everything. And if would somebody send me a dark death metal track, I would be as lost in the same way, because it's just not something I really have much of an understanding of. You can't know everything, but I appreciate you sending it in, and I appreciate the work that you put into that, and the mix Sounds great. I feel that the frequencies for the flute stick a little out. So I would tame that a little bit with a dynamic EQ to control it a little more. So whenever these harsh frequencies hit, they get ducked a little. But on the other hand, that's also the main fundamental range for that flute. But that frequency specifically is very nasty on the ear after a while, so I would try to bring that a little into place and tame that a little. But overall, I even feel that the high end could use a little lift. Maybe not with this one, but rather with so there we go. Why is there so much stuff loaded here? So if you have the Slate subscription, I would look for an EQ. Oh, why is it doing that? Sorry for that. So there we are back. Sorry, Stewie One just decided to crash on me. But yeah, so great work on the track, Pierre. What I wanted to say before I try to load in Slate, well, I would try to give the high end a little boost. It sounded a little bit flat to my ears in that range. But other than that, mix sounded great. It was very well executed. The programming sounded great, and bringing in live instruments is even better. Thumbs up. Well done. Okay, next one in line. Who's next? We have Pierre, Michael or Michelle. The Abyss. You hope I listen to that in its entirety. What is it? 10-minute track? Studio One songs. Listen to a track. There you go. Oh, you don't see that, right? There we go. So anyway, is it Michael or Michelle? Michelle, I guess, because there's no A in front of the E. The Abyss. So that's an MP3, so I hope we don't get too much trouble. Cinematic metal. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I did cinematic metal myself. Nice sound sausage there. So let's take a listen. Just make sure that nothing is file tempo 78. So let's do 78. Did you write anything about it? Let me check. Here's my latest track. I know it's not the same music style as I usually work on, but hey, why not give it a listen? Your feedback would be very appreciated. 78. Okay, let's give it a listen. Someone wanted to have the kick audible. I will tell something about that in a second. Very, very nice. So, bunch of things to say. So first of all, I really appreciate the broad stroke of genres and styles we can listen to today. So that's great. So that we don't only have trailer tracks and trailer track after trailer track, but nice selection of genres. Being from that background myself, I did some metal stuff years ago. I have a certain understanding of what needs to be done. And there are a few things that I have an issue with. I will let you know in a second. Overall, great work. Guitar work is great. Is it you on guitar yourself? I assume so. If so, well done. And it has a very gothic feel in the beginning. VST guitars, okay, well done. I'm not a guitarist, so I am fine with not realizing it's not a real guitar because I'm not a guitarist. If I were a guitarist and would have not realized it's not a real guitar, I would have shot myself by now. I mean, the solo part here is giving it away a little, I have to be honest. But who am I to judge? Always using virtual guitars myself. So, but yeah, overall, for me personally, the kick is tiring after a while. That high end is a little harsh. Soothe could help to ease that out a little bit as well. Not much that I see issues with mixing, but the kick, definitely the high part of the kick is what puts me off a little bit. It's just too much trying to stick out through the rest of the mix. I know where you're coming from, like trying to get the kick through the guitars and everything. But I would definitely suggest to try some techniques like ducking the bass and the guitars whenever the kick hits. So trying to do some sidechain compression to get the kick, get more room in the frequency field for the kick whenever it hits. So then you don't need so much high end in the kick to make it come through, because the high frequency part of the kick is a little bit too much, in my opinion. But other than great work, great track. Could even see some tired Turun vocals type of stuff on top of that. So definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, let's take a look. Where are we at? This is done, so Fidget Jones, and I think you just resent. Did you? I got a bunch of emails. I think I downloaded your Ascension. Was it that one? I think I downloaded it from SoundCloud. Did I? Oh no! Yeah, that was not downloadable. So Fidget, if you sent it, I haven't gotten it yet. So yeah, sidechain is definitely something that will help the track. In case you were wondering, oh god, 10 years ago. What was the name of the track? So that was my band back then. The problem is I don't have the I need to quickly add my output. Ba, ba, ba. That was me like 10 years ago. Oh god, it sounds like shit. So if you want to check it out, Ansodica, that's me like 10 years ago. On keys and writing. Anyway, so yeah, since you asked what the background is with some guitar-driven stuff. Okay, let's No, I want to download that track. Download, there we go. Ascension. So, Fidget, your turn. $138. I have to turn it down a little bit, so I will give you some feedback while it's playing. So you roll your trance producer per se and just foraying into orchestral stuff. Funnily enough, between trance and orchestral music, there's a lot of similarities, especially when it comes to sound choices and but I feel that this one lacks some... I mean, I don't want to be rude, but it sounds like really some cheap Sound Blaster MIDI sounds there. So I don't know what you're using for your sounds, but that definitely needs some improvement. It sounds more like my old Sound Blaster 16 days when I tried to do something with the internal Windows MIDI. Sorry to be so blunt about it, because the composition itself is fine. There's not much to worry about, but my neck hairs stand up when I hear the sounds. So you definitely need to, and there's some cheap and even free options out there, so I will definitely look into some possibility to maybe start with $99 and get the Nucleus elements or the Nucleus small version from Audio Imperia. You need some better orchestral sounds. Right now, as it is, it's not really working. I have to be honest there. Depends on what DAW you're working on. Some DAWs like Studio One even comes with internal sounds. Cubase has some awesome has the Halion Sonic SE. And even the strings from this one sound better. So yeah, look at something like Nucleus Core. Yeah, it sounds very meaty, I have to admit. So this doesn't get anyone out of the house, you know? And especially when you're a trance producer, you know how... It is Albion and Jaeger in Studio One? Excuse me, but I have a hard time to believe that. That doesn't sound like Albion or Jaeger at all. Then the issue is not the sounds but the programming. Then I really would recommend to. I can hardly believe that this is Albin and Jaeger, but why should you tell me shit there? So if it is, then you really check out Mike Werter's masterclasses on MIDI programming. You really need to step up your game with how to program MIDI for orchestral instruments, how to write modulation and expression. Because contrary to trance, where everything relies on more machine gun and more electronic, machine-like stability, orchestra is all about the contrary. So you need the dynamic movement. You need to think like an instrumentalist. If you write a string line or play a brass line, try to imagine how the player plays it instead of like playing it like a synth line. A lot of these elements that I can hear in this track translate to coming from an electronic background, because things are very different. And although there's a lot of stuff that is similar, especially the execution of how the instruments are generated or produced are very different. So you want to get away from that machine-like computer-generated style of sound. And I still can come along the fact that this is based on Albion. The brass is analog brass and the winds from output. Okay, that is a hybrid synth library. That makes more sense. What is absolutely lacking is the life in the performance, which means dynamic arcs in the performance of the individual instruments. It's tough to give a proper feedback there, but this one needs a lot of work in terms of more thinking like how a player would play an instrument. If you play the high lines on the strings. If we were to change this instrument to... I mean, let's take the orchestra itself. Let's just sound from here. There we go. So when I try to play along with what you have here, so try to work with dynamics, bring arcs even within just a bar. When you have a simple line that just plays 8 notes for 4 bars. If I were to put that very hard, it would be... But if you do... like emphasize just the first note of a phrase. So really try, always when you write a MIDI instrument, try to imagine the player behind it. What would he do when he plays it? What would a French horn player do when he plays the horn? Would he raise it up when he gets louder? Try to bring some emotion in there, either through mod wheel, through expression, or just through velocity. So try to have everything in an arc. Try to tell a story with a single instrument. And that should help. So the composition is not the issue. The issue is really the execution of the MIDI performance, no matter what sample library is really behind it. It just sounds very stiff. I think that's my main issue I have with it. And that high brass, the trumpet. The brass really sounds a little bit like MIDI. So work a little bit on the instrument performances and some balancing. Again, composition is fine, and it's a road. When you come from the electronic field, great for trying out and venturing into new fields and endeavors. So good on you, and just keep grinding, keep doing it. So thanks, Fidget, for sending that in. Then we have Brody. Brody didn't write anything why he's sending in, so any specific questions you have in regards to the track? So I think we can do 3 more tracks and then we're done for today. What came here? Mac. Okay, let's download this one. 11. Fidget is done, so we have, well, maybe 2 more. Chris. Just downloading the stuff that we need. Let's quickly jump to the talk mode. Download. Let's make that 12. And last but not least, and that's gonna be the last one, Paul Smith, Dr. Patty McTurfie's jingle. Let's download that. So let's refresh. Okay, back to the grind. How you guys doing out there? You good? So we have, so now Chris. Golden Skies. Was it Chris? And no question specific for feedback. No, Brody, not Chris, sorry. So let's take a listen. That's an MP3. So we may lose some high-end information, which is fine. I can't drink anymore. Oh, sorry. That was loud. VSL Strings Pro is launched. Okay, check that out. Okay. Just checking that we don't have any. Oh, by the way, fire tempo is 140. Very playful. Good old felt piano. Very nice. To be honest, a little bit less memorable. So it's not like full-blown track with the A/B section. It's more like a, I would consider this a mood setter, but I can totally see that on, if you think of nature documentary, a little camera pan across a lake with some ducks sitting on the side and cleaning their wings and like something like that. If I would see it from a licensing perspective, where could that work in a media world? How could you use that for a media production? It's just peaceful tranquility flowing along, nothing wrong with it, but also nothing that like gets you out of the house immediately or open the window and say, well, what do I hear out there? The rain sounds work fine. In a licensing scenario, you would take these out because you would leave this decision to the music editor if they want to have like nature sounds in there. But yeah, kind of that reminded me of like little ducks sitting in the pond and cleaning their wings and just chatting with each other. Yeah, the backwards effects are nice. I like the felt piano sound. Production is fine overall, nothing wrong about it. So, good job. Next one, we are nearing completion. 3 more to go. So, Mac, another MP3. Hey Hakan. Yes, you're late. We're nearly done. What time is it? Oh, close to dinner time. Ooh, lots of sound there. Did Mac say anything about it? Is Mac in the chat? Okay, now we're back in trailer territory. Oh, I love the clocks. Are you fucking kidding me? You need feedback on the mix? All that you need is a fucking pat on the back and a well done. And then you're good to go. Off, write the next one. Write 5 more of these. Gonna get in touch afterwards. No, seriously. Nothing to say about it other than it sounds great, mix is great, mastering is great, sound choices are great. Perfect. Go on, not much to see here. I can't give anything else in terms of feedback because it is just great. No fire tempo here. Oh, where is that? We have a long part in the back. What is it? Dark Hearts. Who sent Dark Hearts? Was it Chris? Dark Hearts. Chris. Really appreciate your time and consideration for all you do for the community of composers. This is probably the first track I have finished. I would love your opinion and feedback on this. However, I can tip and compensate for your time. There's a super chat below the YouTube chat if you want to consider that seriously, but I don't want to force anyone to do that. So, let's go. First track you finished. Someone has listened too much Kamina Burana. I love that part. A little bit of an Elfman feel. I like it. Love the flute runs. Holy shit! I mean, I don't know if you realize that, but listen to these brass stabs in the background. It's very, very hard for me to imagine that this is your first track. I mean, you didn't say your first track, you said your first finished track, so it's a little bit sneaky. Orchestration is fantastic, the sound is great, the choir Camino Burana part here is a little bit too much in your face for my taste, and you see it in a waveform, it sticks out a little too much, so a little more gentleness in the mix there would be probably better. It reminds me very much more of a film score than a production music track or things like that, which is not a bad thing. This part here is gold. I mean, I said in the beginning I like the flute runs. Now listen the second time, they sound a little bit washed out. Are you classically trained or at least studied composing? So from what I hear, this is really advanced writing, especially in the brass. You could see, honestly, this could run underneath the orcs heading to Minas Tirith. I love these brass stabs and the rhythm that you set there in the, I think it's in the trombones. It's very Howard Shore-ish, whereas this part here is very Elfman style, or even Williams' Harry Potter. Kind of like. I love the soundscapes there. I actually would love to know which brass library is that. It sounds amazing. I also love the low percussion. The mix is insanely good. It sounds very real, very open. This is very close to the sound of a live recording of a big orchestra. I have to admit, it sounds brilliant. Quite impressed here. The cello sounds a little bit artificial on top, but I think it's mainly because due to the fact that a solo cello in real life would not stick out as much on top of the orchestra. Well, not solo cello, it's still an ensemble, but this is seriously highly impressive work, especially when you say you're self-taught. It's not only the sounds and the orchestra, and Metropolis Arc obviously does a great job here, but it's also how you massage it to make it sound as cohesive as it does. Very, very good work there. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. And last one for today, or for some of you tonight, Dr. Patty McTuffie's Jingle. It's an MP3 again, so let me... Who sent that in? Paul Smith. Please, can you critique this? Many thanks. Anything in specific you're looking for in terms of critique? Other than that, let's just take a quick listen to what we have here. Come on. I'm gonna bring that down here for a little bit of feedback and just leave that running in the back. It's a little bit, well, positive things. I can hear that you definitely put a bunch of work into that. I'm not a big fan of the sound per se, of the samples. I don't know if it's the free edition of BBC or overall it feels a little bit like, especially in the beginning, it feels like a demo track where you are forced to have a solo passage for each single instrument to make it stand out. So here we have the high strings, here we have the horns, here we have the trumpets, here we have the flutes, and everyone plays a little line, a little lick. I don't see anything cohesive in the whole track, so it kind of runs... There's not really much memorable about it. What I like about it is it has this little bit of a 20s golden age film score feel. So if you would put a telephone filter on it, it would actually sound like it's coming from the 30s. When you slam like some crackles and noises on that, you kind of get that. Actually, when you bring that filter in, it actually sounds really much like an old 30s recording. For a modern sound, I think it sounds too stiff and too round, maybe, for lack of better words. And what I'm missing overall is really a sense of direction. Where is this going? Yeah, but actually Remco said that. It really sounds like a background music for a Disney park attraction. When you just run around Disney park and oh, Mickey Mouse. For that it's great, you know? But also, then again, I mean, Disneyland is right around my corner, and Universal Studios, pre-COVID, we went there pretty often. And when you compare that to the actual Hollywood sound, the big film score sound, then, and would you put them next to next, side by side, you will realize that there's still a bunch of stuff missing to really get them to that kind of sound. So there is some orchestral nice colorings in there. Yeah, it's really theme park music. But some of the sounds are just not my cup of tea. The woodwinds, especially here in that. Also, the reverb overall is a little the reverb just doesn't feel right. I can't really pinpoint where it's coming from. It just Meat Puppet, no, I'm not East Coast, I'm West Coast, I'm in California. And for me, the stream started at 2 p.m. It's 4 p.m. right now. Yeah, it's composition is fine in terms of there's nothing that sticks out like in wrong harmonies or wrong notes or whatever. I'm missing a little bit of cohesiveness, and I'm not a big fan of the sample set you're using. Let's bring it down like that. Overall, in terms of composition, so it's okay. I have to be honest, and I'm subjective Sometimes I just don't like stuff that I hear, and then it is what it is. Even if I try to be objective. But yeah, I think that pretty much brings us... No. There. I think that pretty much brings us to the end of the stream today, but that was fun. That was really nice submissions. Standout moments for me definitely were Max track. That was an absolute standout for me. Chris, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That was awesome. Thank you for the support. And the other one was Leveler. Leveler Beat was the other track that really stood out for me today. That was very special.
I'm a big boss and you a tiny man. You ain't got no plan. You ain't got no plan.
Great stuff. Great stuff. But each and every one of you, thank you so much for sending your stuff in, for being willing to share your work publicly and on the channel. So I really appreciate all the content that you bring to this channel, and we are going to do another round of that pretty soon. I mentioned that last time. I want to kind of take that a notch further and like do a challenge of writing something specifically to brief and then see what everybody comes up with. That's another interesting concept that I want to look at. So if you guys are up for it, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned if you have not yet. Subscribe to the channel below, like the video, leave a comment what you like about the concept, or if you have ideas what we can do in the future. We can always, I'm always listening and I'm always happy for feedback. Tomorrow at 11 AM we are going to take a look at Stefano Maccarelli's Ethera Gold 2.5 coming out on Friday. We also have a giveaway copy of that tomorrow, and on Friday we are taking a look at Orchestra Tools Phoenix Orchestra with 3 giveaways, so 3 lucky winners for Phoenix Orchestra. Thank you so much for tuning in, and again, I will update the video description, so all the links to Discord, my shop, Patreon, and all the social media channels and everything that you need to get notified and get kept in the loop will be underneath the video. Thank you so much for sending in your stuff, and I see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.